And I started with Senator Rubio asking him whether the Senate has an obligation to give the president's Supreme Court nominee an up or down vote.
We have an obligation to do it, but not now. The term of the Supreme Court is already, or they just started it, but it's not all year long. The court can function with 8 justices. It does it all the time, especially when justices have to recuse themselves. For example, Kagan had to recuse herself early in her term because she just left the administration. We're going to have an election in November where this vacancy is going to be an item of debate and voters are going to get to weigh in. So I just don't think it's wise, and there's precedent for this, for a president nearing the last few months of his administration to put someone on the court that may be there for 30 years.
So you don't think that, I understand that, and I understand the decision that you may not support, and that the Republican majority doesn't want this, but aren't they obligated to at least go through the motions here? I mean, you're saying don't even go through the motions. Why?
Correct. Well, we will go through the motions, but not while Barack Obama's in the White House.
Well, why? I mean, do presidential terms end after 3 years? I mean, that's what I don't understand is why not go through the advice and consent? You don't have to approve it. You can reject it. That's what happened in '68. But why not go through this process?
Because it's not just for the Supreme Court, even for appellate courts. It's been both parties have followed this precedent. There comes a point in the last year of the president, especially in their second term, where you stop nominating or you stop the advice and consent process. You basically say at this point, with a few months left in your term, no accountability from the ballot box on the appointment you're going to make on a lifetime appointment.
11
that's
months.
The important thing here. These are these are not laws that can be.
I understand that, but
but these are not laws that can be reversed. In essence, this is a lifetime appointment to the highest court in the country at a time when the balance of the Constitution and the court's interpretation of it is at stake. We're not moving forward on it. Mitch McConnell's already made that very clear. I support it 100%. Here's the bottom line. I don't trust Barack Obama on the appointment of Supreme Court justices. We cannot afford to have Scalia replaced by someone like the nominees he's put there in the past. We're going to have an election. There's going to be a new president. I believe it's going to be me. And we're going to look for someone that most resembles Scalia to replace him.
All right. I want to move to the debate. You said in response to a heated exchange between Jeb Bush and Donald Trump on 9/11, this is what you said about 9/11, and I want to ask you about it on the other side.
The World Trade Center came down because Bill Clinton didn't kill Osama bin Laden when he had the chance to kill him.
That's a big charge. I know Bill Clinton has said it is one of his regrets, but he did make an attempt to go after him. But you believe that is a direct result? If basically Bill Clinton's failure led to 9/11?
Well, I believe that if Osama bin Laden had been killed, al-Qaeda as an organization would not have grown to the point where it had conducted 9/11. And it was in response to this argument that Trump was making that somehow President Bush was responsible for 9/11. And my argument was, no, the responsibility of 9/11 falls on the fact that al-Qaeda was allowed to grow and prosper, and the decision was not made to take out their leader when the chance existed to do so. Not once, but 4 times, according to the 9/11 report. President Clinton has acknowledged that as a regret. And so the bottom line is that al-Qaeda was able to carry out 9/11 because as an organization they grew and prospered in capability, led by Osama bin Laden. Had bin Laden been taken out, it is doubtful that 9/11 would have happened at least on September 11 of 2001 because al-Qaeda would not have been in a position to be able to carry something like that out.
So you're not blaming 9/11 on Bill Clinton?
No, he made a decision not to take out its leader, which I think ended up being the situation that happened with 9/11. And this was a response to an attack that the reason why 9/11 happened was because of George W. Bush. And my argument is if you're going to ascribe blame, don't blame George W. Bush. Blame a decision that was made years earlier not to take out bin Laden when the opportunity presented itself.
So I'm actually still not quite clear. Are you putting 9/11 on Bill Clinton?
No, I'm putting it on his decision not to take out bin Laden, absolutely. This is what happens when you have a chance to take out the leader of a terrorist organization and you fail to do so, and the results are something like 9/11.
Later this week, Pope Francis is going to speak, is certainly going to tour the border of Mexico and the United States. And in September, in front of Congress, he called himself the son of immigrants, and he called on Congress and Americans not to, quote, turn their backs on their neighbors. You yourself got emotional listening to that speech. Do you feel that the Pope's message about immigrants, particularly Mexican immigrants in our immigration debate here, do you agree with his take on this?
Sure, we're a country of immigrants. We continue to be a country of immigrants. Let's have some perspective here. America accepts close to 1 million permanent residents every single year. No other nation in the world comes close to that number. That's not the issue we're debating. The issue we're debating is not whether we're going to accept immigrants, because we do, and we're going to continue to. The issue is there going to be a process that people have to follow to immigrate to the United States? Do we as a sovereign country get to control how many people come here, when they come here, and who they are? And the answer is yes. I don't think the Pope is saying open up the borders and allow anyone who wants to come in. I mean, you can't move to the Vatican just because you feel like moving there. They've got laws that restrict who can live within that nation, city, state. And I think the same is true for the United States. So I agree with Pope Francis is saying that we should be compassionate towards immigrants, and we are. The United States is, more than any nation on earth. But we are allowed, as a sovereign nation, have an obligation to have immigration laws and to enforce them. And that's what we need to be doing better than what we're doing.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.